Now, my friends on talkSPORT, we're always putting Friday's show to bed with the aid of Van Conroy. Van Friday, one of the country's leading film critics, and the man who picks 3 top Freeview film recommendations for the weekend. You might need him this weekend with no Premier League or Championship football. 3 from Van, 3 from me. You pays no money, but you makes your own choice. And here he is, the man himself, Van Conroy. Good morning, Van. How's your week been? Have you seen any good new films this week?
I mean, I've seen new films, Paul. I don't know if I've seen good new films. I have seen new films. I saw the Disney Snow White one, which it was a new film. I mean, well, actually, it wasn't new. It was a film.
That good, eh?
No, I'm letting you down on good and new, I'm afraid. Because Snow White, I didn't think was particularly very good.
You can't take credit for them when you've not written them and directed them, although I know it's only a matter of time. So what's your first recommendation for us, Van, please?
Right, overlooked one for you. This is from 2 years ago. This was really overlooked. You can find this. I think you can find this on Disney Plus streaming, but it's on Channel 4 tonight, 10 past midnight, and it stars one of the nominees for this year's Best Actor Oscar, Sebastian Stan. He was nominated for playing Donald Trump in The Apprentice this year. And he is the manic pixie dream boy discovered by Daisy Edgar-Jones, who has given up on dating apps. She's had it. She's had it with the dating scene. She's throwing in the towel, and then one day she meets the ultimate manic pixie dream boy, who happens to look, sound, and behave like Sebastian Stan.
When you say manic pixie dream boy, is he actually a manic pixie, or is it a young person's term I've not across?
This is an archetype. This is like an archetype, a trope within cinema. It started with Zooey Deschanel in the 2000s, the manic pixie dream girl. Kirsten Dunst and Zooey Deschanel kind of invented it. The idea of the too good to be true romantic interest. Yeah. To an extent. Of course, she enters into a relationship with our young hunk, and all is not quite as it appears to be, naturally enough, but I promise you have no idea how depraved the truth could really be. I'm just going to say that the title is giving away a fair bit.
Ooh, misses.
So, misses. So, like I say, you can see this tonight, 10 past 12 on Channel 4. Worth it just for Sebastian Stan having the time of his life, and Daisy Edgar-Jones being way more charismatic than she was in Twisters. So, like I say, you can see this on Disney Plus streaming as well, but tonight, 10 past 12 on Channel 4, it is fresh. So I've got a clip for you. This is Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar-Jones dealing with the pitfalls of modern dating.
Here we go.
Wow.
Science.
Yeah, go with science.
Do you live around here? Because I live on aisle 6. I just come to the fruit section to talk to random, very good-looking people that stand near it. That was terrible.
It was kind of terrible.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
Have a good night.
Okay, you too.
You know what? I'm already ruining this, so I'm just going to keep going. Do you think I can have your number?
Now that sounds sweet and innocent enough. Where can it possibly all go wrong? Find out, watch the film. Okie dokie. Now, I almost went for, on Talking Pictures TV tonight, 10 past 10, from 1979. There's one of the original films that provoked the whole kind of video nasty shock horror, furore, hysteria. Driller Killer's on tonight, 10 past 10. The original one, directed by Abel Ferrara, under a different, I think he directed under the name of Jimmy Lane or something, a different name. And it's about a young artist who goes bonkers from stress and starts killing the homeless and derelicts, they call them in the film, rather unkindly, with a drill, power drill, so hence Driller Killer. However, I've gone for a film that involves Playboy bunnies, Wagner, Joseph Conrad, Marlon Brando, Napoleon and the Doors. It is Apocalypse Now from 1979, the same year as Driller Killer, rather different film with a different budget. I've recommended it before, I know you've seen it before, folks. 9 o'clock tonight on Film 4, based on the short story by Joseph Conrad, Heart of Darkness, and it's about a captain, I think, in the armed forces in America, in Vietnam, who's told to go upriver into effectively no man's land, enemy territory, and kill Colonel Kurtz, played by Marlon Brando, because he's basically gone absolutely bonkers doing hideous things. A very young Harrison Ford pops up in it as well. Martin Sheen's amazing. Frederick Forrest is in it as well. An amazing cast. Some of the scenery and some of the set pieces are fantastic. Robert Duvall steals the film as a bonkers kind of cavalryman who's riding helicopters now to the tune of Ride of the Valkyries. So it's there. It's a classic. This is the final director's cut until the next one comes along. I think.
Is this final cut? It's final cut.
So they say, but there's bound to be more lurking around in the Coppola archives. So it's a cracking film. It's on tonight. It's at the very least, you might as well stick it in your record section and watch chunks of it at a time. 9 o'clock tonight it all starts. So on Film 4, here we go. Don't you love the smell of napalm in the morning?
You've heard of Colonel Walter E. Kurtz. Your mission is to terminate the Colonel's command. Terminate. Terminate with extreme prejudice.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Very obviously, he has gone insane.
This is the end, my only friend, the end.
Are you an assassin? I'm a soldier.
I mean, the 70s belong to Marlon Brando because of that film, The Godfather, and, of course, Last Tango in Paris. Last time I recommended it, I quoted the Colonel Kurtz speech about dreaming he was a snail crawling along the blade of a straight razor. This time I'm just going to say, Charlie, don't surf. What have you got for us next, Van?
I mean, I don't know. Does it compare to Apocalypse Now? I think there is an argument to be made. It is, of course, Gerard Butler's January actioner from last year. We've had this conversation a few times over the years, Paul. Every January, in my estimation, this is actually not even my theory. This comes from a friend of mine who runs a cinema in Sheffield. Every January needs a palate-cleansing trash actioner to start the year off right. So, last year we had The Beekeeper.
Which was great. It's a great film, The Beekeeper.
Yeah. This year would have been Gerard Butler again. We would have had Den of Thieves too, but they messed up the release dates. But back in 2023, we had Plane, in which Gerard Butler was the airline pilot transporting a US federal fugitive. His plane has to land. It lands on an island run by terrorists. Convict gets loose, and convict and pilot must team up to save the day so that Jerry Butler can get home to his daughter, don't you know? It's that kind of a movie. It is exactly as stupid as it sounds, but oh my God, such fun. Like, I literally have the in-flight safety card for this movie framed in my hallway. I'm not even kidding.
I warn you, folks, if you watch 3 minutes of this, you're going to watch the whole film because it's a great non-stop action nonsense film.
Yeah, it totally is. It is absolutely lantern-jawed to a degree that is almost offensive to right angles. It is absolutely moronic. And, oh, God, does Gerard Butler sell the hell out of it. Plus, you get Mike Coulter, Luke Cage, from the Netflix Marvel shows, as well as Melody. We are getting a sequel to this. They're making it at the moment. It is called Boat. Is it Boat or Ship? It's either Boat or Ship. And whichever one it is, I had bet on the opposite.
Oh, God.
I had jokingly said they should set one on a boat and call it Boat. I think they're calling it Ship, but that is happening, so that's going on now. You can see this Saturday night, 9:15 on Channel 4, which is a perfect time for it. Get your Dominoes in, order your kebabs, get the Just Eat flowing, crack open some cans, get the bottle of wine airing, and whack on Plane, which is just an absolutely thrilling 105 minutes or so of, as I say, lantern-jawed, white-knuckle charm. Got a clip for you. This is Gerard Butler. Literally trying to sell the premise of him and a convict on a lone island filled with terrorists.
Good luck with that, Gerard.
Yeah, sweetheart, it's me. I'm okay. Now don't talk, just listen, because we might cut out, okay? Quick, grab something to write with.
Danny, not now, Aunt Carrie. Is that your dad? Yes. Danny, when are you, Brody? Okay, I got it.
You've gone down, all right? I want you to write what I say and get it to Trailblazer immediately.
Okay.
All right, we're on an island somewhere in the Jolo cluster in the Sulu Sea. Okay, now we have no radio. And I don't know what island we're on.
Whoa, what he needs is what 3 words? Have you got that on your phone?
Well, as a man who goes to a lot of film festivals and outdoor, of course, I have to. It's fun. My preferred method of taking an AirTag and putting it 3D printed wristband is a lot easier, but yeah.
Okay, then my second recommendation, and this caused me a bit of head scratching because there were, in quite quick succession, there were two Suicide Squads. There was Suicide Squad from 2016, then there was The Suicide Squad, which is the superior film, and I'm pretty sure ITV2, Saturday night, 9 o'clock, have got The Suicide Squad. James Gunn directed it, Idris Elba's in it, Margot Robbie turns up in it as well. What's not to love? DC Comics mutant kind of attempt to be sort of left field punky, and it works in the comics. The first film didn't work as well as this one does, and again it's kind of comic strip nonsense, but much more violent and much more unpleasant, and it involves characters, heroes, or are they anti-heroes, like the Weasel, which we can hear about in a moment, I think. So you must have enjoyed this film. This is a romp, is it not, Van?
Oh, it totally is. I mean, the basic premise of the Suicide Squad exists in both Marvel and DC comics. So the idea is basically to have a team of villains. You know, your every heroes of villains who are all locked up in the same prison, and to then basically put them on a team and let them out to do Black Ops.
Yeah.
And in the DC universe, that's Task Force X or Suicide Squad, because they all have bombs in their heads, so they can be detonated if they go off mission. And in the Marvel universe, it's the Thunderbolts, and they're the movie that's coming out in May. Now, for the movie of Thunderbolts, they've made them anti-heroes and not villains. But DC stuck with the villains. And James Gunn knows how to write bad guys because he basically takes this on the same way that he did the Guardians of the Galaxy. We also get a sort of a sequel, a direct follow-up to this, twice, in that you get Peacemaker, which is, I think, a 8 or 9 episode series with John Cena.
Which is a great series.
Great, that directly follows on the events of this, and then directly following on the events of Peacemaker, again written by James Gunn, is a 7-episode animated series. It's not had a UK release yet. It's ahead in the US this year.
What's that?
It's fantastic. It's called Creature Commandos.
Oh, wow.
And the idea is that because they're not legally allowed to use human beings for the Suicide Squad anymore, they decide to use the non-human beings. So all of the monsters they have in the prison get put on a team, and they become Task Force M. The film, though, The Suicide Squad, absolutely banging, really nasty and funny and dark and grisly and just gory and excessive. Very James Gunn.
And it inspired my final choice. I'll tell you about that in a moment, though. But let's have a clip from The Suicide Squad, 9 o'clock at ITV2, Saturday, that's tomorrow, of course. And in it, they're trying to work out who's got what powers, and who the hairy-looking bloke is. Could he be possibly somebody who barks at the moon? Here we go.
Yo, is this a dog?
What?
Is this thing a dog?
A dog?
Yes.
What kind of dog do you think it is, mate?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the breeds. I'm gonna go with Afghan Hound.
Since when is an Afghan Hound have bloody thumbs?
Oh my God, is it a werewolf? I wanted to meet a werewolf forever.
Yo, they turned me into a werewolf? That's not right. Yo, let me know. I do not a werewolf.
Yeah, he's not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel. He's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but, you know, we got him to, I think he's agreed to do this. Whatever the case, just everyone get in a position to drop.
Whatever the case, just get in a position to drop top stuff. Now, I mentioned this inspired or leads on to my final choice, and again, it's a film I recommended before, 5 Action, Sunday night, 9 o'clock, better on Saturday night, but even so, 9 o'clock Sunday night on 5 Action, from 1967, it's The Dirty Dozen. Lee Marvin, Ernest Borgnine, John Cassavetes in his only really major breakthrough, the best role in the film, Telly Savalas as a Bible-quoting, Bible-obsessed, religious fanatic rapist, and one of the most unpleasant characters of all time. They're tasked with going behind enemy lines into France, into this massive high-class brothel where all the SS officers are doing what SS officers do in high-class brothels, and kill as many as they can. They're all on either death row or life sentences. If they live and live through it, they're free. If they don't, tough luck. If they fail up in training, they go back to the original sentence. So the setup's simple. You don't get weasels in it, but you do get, I mean, who doesn't love a Lee Marvin film from the 60s? And this is one of his finest, I think, Van.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, it's this and is it Point Blank?
Point
this
Blank.
And Point Blank.
Is brilliant.
Those two are my go-to Marvin flicks every time.
Marvellous stuff. Here we go then. 9 o'clock, Sunday night, 5 Action, The Dirty Dozen. Talk about Lantern Jawed.
Major Reisman, you are ordered by Allied Command to select 12 general prisoners convicted by courts-martial and sentenced to be executed or serve lengthy prison terms for murder, rape, robbery, and other crimes of violence. And you will deliver them secretly behind enemy lines in France to undertake a mission of sabotage that could change the course of the war. The 12 men will be known as the Dirty Dozen.
Lee Marvin as Major John Reisman.
There's a little of Major Reisman in every man, says Marvin. Tough and unyielding, yet compassionate. I think it's the best role I've ever been asked to play.
You've all volunteered for a mission which gives you just 3 ways to go. Either you can foul up in training and be shipped back here for immediate execution of sentence, or you can foul up in combat, in which case I will personally blow your brains out, or you can do as you're told, in which case you might just get by.
Now you hold it right there. This war was not started for your private gratification, and you can be damn sure that this army isn't being run for your personal convenience either.
Turns out not to be the case, that one. It's also got Donald Sutherland in it. Of course, he's in uniform as well in Kelly's Heroes. In this, he's fantastic as a kind of country bumpkin who suddenly gets to impersonate a general. Cracking film, 9 o'clock, Sunday night, 5 action, Dirty Dozen. Where are you taking us finally, Van?
And finally this week, and I've been looking forward to talking about this again, because it's one of my favourite movies ever, is Christopher Nolan's 2006 effort, The Prestige.
Quality.
Which I think this kind of has to be talked about in the conversation of what is the best Nolan movie. Like, surely, because it's not got the overblown nature of things like Inception and Tenet and Interstellar, etc. It's a stripped down, very lean thriller adaptation of quite a nice, truncated, twisty-turny novel by Nolan, in which 2 magicians, formerly best friends and partners, become bitter rivals in a blood feud that spills through the decades and just becomes this absolutely murderous game of one-upmanship between Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. Arguably, I think Hugh Jackman is kind of our point of view hero of the story. You have Michael Caine as the sort of mentor go-between of both men. A great supporting cast that also includes the likes of Scarlett Johansson, Andy Serkis, and a scene-stealing David Bowie, the late, great David Bowie, as Nikola Tesla.
And he's brilliant in this. And it's talk about typecasting with a vengeance. It's such a muted bit of casting, but it works brilliantly.
I feel like there wasn't a conversation. It's like, who do we get to play Nikola Tesla? I feel like it wasn't 3 seconds before someone said, can we ask David Bowie? And thank God he said yes, because he's terrific. The novel is good. I actually think the movie is better. You can see this on Sunday night, 10:30 on BBC One. Should be done, I would say, probably about 20 past 12, I would say. If you've got an early one on Monday, you can make a good run of it. I think it's a banger. I've got a clip for you. Say 10:30 Sunday night on BBC One. I've got a clip for you. This is Hugh Jackman and Michael Caine trying to work out how Christian Bale's latest grand illusion actually works.
Abracadabra.
He doesn't know how to sell his trick to an audience, but I do. Yeah, well, we can use it as a climax of the show. Yes. The man stole my life. I'm going to steal his trick. We've got to find someone who looks like you on stage. He doesn't use a double. Robert, I don't know how Borden does the trick. So either wait for him to retire and buy the secret, or you listen to how I would do it. And the only way that I know how to do it is to find you a bloody good double. All right. Take a good look. Let's get out there and find me.
I think that's Michael Caine impersonating Steve Coogan impersonating Michael Caine from The Trip, isn't it? But even so, great performance, though. A great film, or rather, brilliant note to end on. It's off screen around this morning. You dropping at 8 o'clock with your latest podcast?
Off Screen is indeed dropping at 8 a.m. on all good podcast platforms. We're back, and we get to talk about some absolutely insane things this week. Do you know about The Electric State? That's out this week. It's like the most expensive movie ever made, or one of them.
It sounds like it's a science fiction film, but maybe it's not, or is it?
It is. It's an adaptation of a novel. It's like a post-robot war movie, which is weird because we've also got a movie called Y2K this week, in which robots come to life because of Y2K. So we've got 2 movies starring Rachel Ziegler and 2 movies about robots this week. And one of them has both. So make of that what you will.
Fantastic stuff there from our mate Van Connor. Make sure you download the Off-Screen podcast, available from all good podcast providers and from some mediocre ones, but it's a great listen. And join me and Van next Friday. We'll talk about another 6 Freeview film recommendations. But for the time being, that's, what is it they say? A wrap.